Afternoon, guys. Jerry Miller on the I Love CVille Show. Thank you kindly for joining us live from our building in downtown Charlottesville, the Macklin Building on Market Street. Today's show is loaded. It's presented by Scott Wagner of Scott Wagner Integrated Medicine. Who's got your back? Dr. Wagner of Scott Wagner Integrated Medicine has your back. I hope you guys watched Real Talk with Keith Smith this morning. It's the 10:15 a.m. show we do on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Judah will get that show online from a post-production standpoint later this afternoon, but you can find the show on social media or wherever you get your podcasts now. The interview was great. It was 90 minutes with Mayor Lloyd Sinook and Councilor Michael Payne, and very straightforward conversation, very frank conversation. When you spend 90 minutes sitting alongside a mayor and a councilor in a long-form content, a lot can get covered. So here's some things that should be highlighted to you. I asked early in this week, after Monday night's meeting, the Charlottesville Redevelopment and Housing Authority on Monday evening voted to make a $10 million purchase. The $10 million purchase was 74 units in the Dogwood Properties portfolio owned by Keith Woodard. Dogwood Properties first started by Eugene Williams, a housing and equality advocate here in the city of Charlottesville. He sold in 2007 his portfolio to Keith Woodard of Woodard Properties, and now the Charlottesville Redevelopment and Housing Authority is looking to purchase the portfolio from Keith Woodard and Woodard Properties. They need $10 million, $5 million from the Charlottesville Capital Improvement Program. That's taxpayer money. That's going to be voted on Monday evening in the city council meeting on Monday, whether council will approve that $5 million allocation. Here's the clarity we were looking for, and we got it from Michael Payne this morning. The $5 million interest-free, 0% interest loan from the private donor, that private donor is Riverbend Development. That's Corin Capshaw's team. On Tuesday and Wednesday of this week, we were predicting that the private donor, the anonymous donor, was Riverbend Development. Our crystal ball and what we were hearing from folks in the know proved to be correct yet again. Councilor Payne and Mayor Sinook offered clarity on this. I still wonder if there's any kind of conflict of interest in that one of the major developers in Charlottesville, Riverbend, who is developing the Kmart project, the Kmart site in the city of Charlottesville, is offering a $5 million interest-free loan to a housing authority. What is expected in return for this $5 million? It's a fair question to ask. I also wonder what is expected in return for the selling of a 74-unit portfolio to a housing authority. Is anything expected from the Woodard Property side of the table? You sell 74 units, $10 million. Assessed value is $9,600,000. Appraised value is over $13 million. So while Woodard is making some money, he is taking a bit of a haircut here from a full profit standpoint. Should he have chosen to sell a la carte the properties, or should he have gone the private route to sell the properties? So fair questions I think anyone should be asking. What is the I scratch your back, you scratch my back negotiation that's happening behind the scene? That is a fair question. It's a very fair question. I think it's also important to emphasize, as some of the viewers and listeners have highlighted, when the Charlottesville Redevelopment and Housing Authority purchases these 74 properties, and this deal is going to go through, it takes the properties off the tax rolls. So the tax rolls will lose revenue when this deal materializes and crosses the closing table finish line. So that's another thing to highlight is money coming out of potential city coffers because you're going to a housing authority that's not paying taxes on the 74 units. Let's weave Judah Witkower in on a two-shot. We'll get some perspective from the director of this Fine and Fair talk show. I want to get some reaction from you on today's show. Interesting tidbit that we're hearing through the grapevine. A female may announce her plans to run for Charlottesville City Council in the next handful of days.
Great.
I think we're both very excited for that.
I think everybody is. I mean, nobody wants. We've heard it from other people. I don't necessarily need to say who, but I don't think anybody wants an all-male council.
No, not an all-male council. Not in 20. I guess when the new council comes on, it would be 2024. I thought Michael Payne and Lloyd Snook were dynamite today.
Yeah.
Michael Payne is a smart dude.
They both are, yeah.
Hey, Lloyd Snook is a smart dude, too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't always completely agree with Michael Payne, but I will say this. Councilor Payne very much cares for Charlottesville, Virginia.
Yeah.
He very much cares for the betterment of this community. Michael Payne does.
Definitely.
So does Lloyd Snook.
And I often find myself agreeing with a lot of what he has to say. Despite the fact that I think that often happens a lot more in local politics, where you can find common ground with people that politically and ideologically you may not have much to agree with, but where we're in the broader national political scene, I think things tend to get pushed to the margins. So the right wing talking points go all the way to the right, and the left wing talking points go all the way to the left. And in smaller local government, you often find people that I think it comes down more to common sense than big country political talking.
I agree with that. Local government less polarizing.
Yeah.
Much more centered. I mean, Michael and Lloyd, we see around town.
Yeah.
They're everyday guys.
Yeah.
These are Charlottesvillians that are busting their tails to do what's best for the community.
Definitely.
I was very much impressed with Councilor Payne's answer on the pilot program with UVA. Mayor Snook straight up said, look, there's limits that we can do as councilors when it comes to politicking and lobbying UVA for the payment in lieu of taxes program.
Yeah.
There's very limited. And Michael said, Mayor Snook is right. One thing he's trying to do is maybe use the power of the populace and the influence of the masses to lobby UVA to start ponying up some cash. I think that's the right path of attack.
Yeah.
There's no more influential version of power than the influence of the populace.
Vox Populi.
Yeah. That's the most, that trumps money. That trumps having a massive workforce. Mm-hmm. The populace and its influence, when leveraged and utilized in collective fashion, is the most influential version of power. Perfect example that's why the teachers are fighting so hard for collective bargaining.
Yeah.
Albemarle and Charlottesville, that's a slam dunk that should be a no-brainer. Albemarle County and City of Charlottesville, slam dunk, no-brainer collective bargaining. Let's get beyond that. Lisa Costello has some questions on social media, and she says, how many city living units are owned by CRHA? What percentage of these units is of the total living units in the Charlottesville City spectrum? She also says, is CRHA starting to buy up properties as UVA has long done? What should the extent be of CRHA purchasing properties that were previously private? She also says, since these properties will not be taxed, will this and any other future CRHA purchases of private housing units increase the tax rate of everyone in the city? Great questions.
Yeah.
Lisa Costello, I think we've dubbed her the Queen of Cherry Avenue. Those are great questions. I'll try to answer them. I don't know the exact number of units owned by CRHA, but I will work to figure that out for you, Lisa. I don't know the exact percentage of real estate CRHA owns when compared to the city in totality, but I will work to figure that out for you, Lisa, as well. She also says, will CRHA continue to buy up properties like UVA has done? I would say yes. Because if CRHA has control of these properties, then they have control of the zoning potential. should and when upzoning gets approved, CRHA may be one of the first to market when it comes to creating density because they have such a vast portfolio. And to answer your question, what should the extent be of CRHA purchasing properties that were previously private? That's a great question. And that may be a question for council. How deep can CRHA go in buying properties, taking them off tax rolls, and putting them into this housing authority purview? That's a great question. I think a fair question, and it should be asked on Monday night when council is considering whether or not to allocate $5 million of taxpayer dollars to CRHA. Folks should ask, what is expected? What will be given? What kind of grease? What kind of hookup will be given or allocated or pushed the way of Riverbend or Woodard?
And if
Do you think that's a fair question?
yeah,
I think that's fair.
I was also going to ask if CRHA is buying private homes. Don't those homes come off? They would then turn those into rentals. So those would essentially come off the market of buyable, sellable homes.
Yeah,
correct?
100%. Yeah, because what Woodard Properties could have done is they could have taken that portfolio of 74 units. If they wanted to maximize profitability, they would have sold each of those units individually at fair market value.
Yeah.
It's like what's a good example of this? I was going to use an example for the.
It's like buying in bulk. I mean,
It's like the Girl Scout cookies. You can buy a box of Girl Scout cookies at $10, or you can buy in bulk and you can get a deal. It's like folks that are buying some shrubbery or some landscaping. You can buy a zip for $3, or you can buy an eighth or a quarter for $60.
Or you could just make this about grocery stores. I mean,
Woodard could sell these individually and get the most money possible, or sell the portfolio in totality and do the least amount of work possible.
Yeah.
Because that's the quickest way to getting some money. Not the most margin, though.
Although there's also the question of what else they're getting.
Who?
Woodard. With their zero interest loan.
I mean, the zero interest loan is going to CRHA from Riverbend.
Oh, Riverbend, yeah.
I'm wondering what Riverbend gets for a 0% $5 million loan. It's a fair question.
Yeah.
I'm also wondering what Woodard is getting for selling the portfolio for $10 million when the appraised value is $13 million plus.
Yeah, because it's not like they need the money right now. It's not like they're in dire straits or anything, and they're trying to liquidate some properties to cover something. So yeah, I mean,
and both have massive projects in the pipeline. Riverbend Kmart site.
Yeah.
Woodard Kim's Market IGA site.
Right.
Fair questions that should be asked Monday on the council meeting. Please bring those up. Vanessa Parkhill says Riverbend gets a bump in their ESG score. Albert Graves says, I would not be surprised if the grease for the wheel is some zoning leniency when it comes to the development of the old Kmart parcel. Capshaw is too damn savvy just to give something away. That's my point.
This would not surprise us.
It would not surprise me either. Albert Graves right on point. I mean, you're talking about arguably one of the most sophisticated and savvy guys in Central Virginia in Corin Capshaw.
Yeah.
When you think Corin Capshaw, you think savvy, sophistication, street smarts, vision, he's playing chess when everybody else is playing checkers. That's Corin Capshaw. So what's his chess move here? If we're playing checkers, what's the chess move?
Yeah.
What's the chess move? Dylan's Rule on Twitter. Jerry, do you remember that Riverbend had some ownership interest in the Crescent Halls South 1st Street development? That's right. And interestingly, Crescent Halls is the building Corin sees when he looks outside his office. His office at the top floor of the ACAC parking lot, downtown Charlottesville, he's looking out his window. He sees the Crescent Halls building literally across from his desk. Mm-hmm. Asking the question is fair. It should come up on Monday. I mention this live on air. The other concern that you have, and it's something that's flying under the radar, is does CRHA have the infrastructure to maintain and manage all this real estate? It's a housing authority.
Yeah.
Does a housing authority have the personnel and skill set to maintain these properties? Frankly speaking, its existing portfolio may say otherwise. Where many folks are saying the existing portfolio is, how do I put it nicely, in need of TLC?
Are they not looking so good?
No. No, they're not looking so good at all. I mean, if you can't maintain what you currently got, what are you going to do when you take on 74 additional? I mean, we have 24 units, and those are hard enough to do.
Yeah.
Oh, Charlottesville. Crescent Halls, South 1st Street, and the Avon Levy area for their development overview. Avon Levy site is currently on hold pending the outcome of a comprehensive development plan for CRHA's remaining properties that will get underway. Oh, this is way outdated, this website. But Crescent Halls and South 1st Street are examples of stuff that they manage and own. All right, I want to do this. I want to ask the community, the viewers and listeners, how they feel about a potentially all-male council. Wade and Pinkston still have ample time on their terms. Right now, 4 dudes are running for 3 spots: Snook, Payne, Cooper, Fenwick. Is an all-male council representative or indicative of Charlottesville? Take it a step further. 4 of the 5 males will be white.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta say, right now the front runners to win are Snook and Payne, and you would think, based on experience, Fenwick is going to beat Cooper. Fenwick's been on council before. Fenwick is a name brand recognition. Cooper's still trying to build his brand. On paper, Fenwick beats Cooper. So that, as of today, you're looking at Pinkston, Wade, Snook, Payne, and Fenwick. 4 white dudes, 1 African-American guy, 5 guys in general. How's the community respond to that? We are hearing through the grapevine a female is about to announce her plans to run for council.
A woman?
We will let her make the splash and not steal her announcement thunder, but that's percolating right now on the grapevine. What do you think?
I think I'd love to see a woman run.
Would you have beef with it if it was 5 dudes? Or you just say it is what it is?
I would say it is what it is. I mean, if completely just, thought process here, if 5 women ran and 5 men ran and we ended up with 5 men, that would be strange.
But that would be different, though, because that would give the voters selection and choice. As of now, there's no choice.
That's my point.
Okay.
In this case, and this is really what I want to say, is that, I think at some point we need to get over this. Everything needs to be, everything needs to be equally, you need to have an equal number of women and an equal number of, people from different backgrounds and races. Yes, if that is possible, wonderful. But if a bunch of white guys run for office and nobody runs to oppose them, and you end up with a white guy in office, is that a problem?
Unless the minority demographics feel dispirited, disenfranchised, or do not feel like they can win because of systematic pressures working against them.
That's fair.
That would be a problem.
That's fair, but hopefully...
And I'm just doing that to play devil's advocate with you. Because I think you make a great point. If it was all males running and that was all that chose to run, then it is what it is, and that's how it played out.
Yeah. You can't complain that you've got an old white guy in office when only old white guys ran for office.
And we're not saying anything about you, Mayor Snook. We love you. We know tremendously we love you. We have tremendous
this isn't
respect
anything
for you.
specific.
Okay. We have to caveat that right there because we love the guy, right?
Yeah.
We love the guy.
I wasn't even thinking about it.
Okay, we love the guy. We love you, Mayor Snook.
Yeah, in the case of people feeling, dispirited or like they don't have a chance to win.
Do you think there's systematic pressures working against someone of color or a woman running for council?
I would hope if there were, that somebody would bring that up, that we would hear about that somebody would start doing something about that.
Viewers and listeners, that's a question for you.
Yeah.
In Charlottesville, Virginia, are there systematic influences, systematic forces, or systematic pressures that are keeping a person of color or a female from running for city council?
And I don't necessarily think there are any of those forces against. We've had people of color, we've had women on council, both.
I say the answer is no.
I would say that there are forces against someone of the wrong political spectrum running.
There's forces and systematic pressures preventing Republicans from running.
Yeah.
Yes. Great point. I 100% give you that. There's systematic pressures preventing Republicans from running for any position in Charlottesville. Are there systematic pressures?
You won't hear too many complaints about that, though.
You hear complaints about that. I mean, Lisa Costello is saying right now on Cherry Avenue, it bothers me there are no Republicans running, that more so than there are no women.
Yeah.
She says it bothers me that it's left-leaning and no centrists or no conservatives.
That bothers
she says,
me too.
I'm concerned no centrist nor Republican could get elected in this town. And I think that's a very good point.
That's concerning to me too, and I think she's 100% correct.
So, tough question. Are there systematic pressures keeping a woman or a person of color for running for council this year?
Not if they're on the correct side of the political spectrum.
Walk me through that. You're saying if they're liberal or Democrat, then they're fine?
Yeah.
Mayor Walker won as an independent.
Yeah, but I don't think she would have had a problem as a Democrat.
No, she still would have won if she was a Democrat. The stars aligned for that particular race, fresh off of August 12, 2017.
No doubt.
That was an anomaly in a lot of circumstances, having an activist elected in that capacity.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand there are reasons why she ran as an independent, but I don't think she would have had a problem as a Democrat.
No, she would have won.
She may have been beholden to the Democratic Party in Charlottesville.
Sarah Hill Buchensky, SHB, I love when you watch the show and comment. She says race and or sex should not trump qualifications and the ability for a job. Amen.
That is always the hope. I don't know that that's always the
That's
outcome.
not always the case.
Yeah.
But that is the hope. You want the most qualified person to get the job or to get elected.
Yeah.
I mentioned this live on air. This topic's resonating with people here. Vanessa says, Park Hill, I don't care what sex or race the council members are. The notion that someone who isn't just like me can't have my best interests at heart is ridiculous. There are a lot of good men in my life that I would trust on council all day long. Well said, Vanessa.
Yeah.
Vanessa says, that's like saying Councilman Wade is only representing black people and black children. I do not believe he would do that, nor do I.
Right.
Nor do I.
Mm-hmm.
I read these comments live on air. More of these coming in, and I want to get to as many of these as possible. Carly Wagner. I do not care that they are all male. I don't think demographics should matter at all for elected representatives. If they are doing their job representing their constituents, it shouldn't matter male, female, black, white. Qualifications matter more. Well said.
Yeah.
Carly Wagner. Well said. You have a flag next to your name on the I Love CVille Facebook page. I wonder what that flag means. Ooh, it says you're a milestone follower and you've earned a badge. Well done, Carly Wagner, milestone follower. I like they're introducing these badges on Facebook for high traffic Facebook pages. I mentioned this live on air. Good comment, Carly. So we'll see. I think a lot of you guys may be hearing this first. We'll see potential female entering the race here shortly. We'll leave it at that. We won't steal anyone's thunder. Carol Thorpe, the Queen of Jack Jewett. Bob Fenwick has name recognition and a reputation, but it's not all good. Didn't he run one other time for the Democrat nomination and lost? Yes, he did. Bob Fenwick lost Carol Thorpe in 2019. Yes, he did. He lost in 2019. Or did Fenwick lose? Let me confirm. Fenwick may have run in the Pinkston Wade year. I'm going to go to CVillepedia and check. He was on council for one term from 2013 to 2017. He was defeated in the 2017 Democratic primary. He was also a candidate in 2019. So it was during the Payne, McGill, Bellamy Brown, Lloyd Snook 2019 race. He placed fifth in the five-way race, so he came in last out of five. Bob Fenwick's the guy who drives around town in the white work van that says homework with Bob Fenwick on it. Have you seen the work van?
I think I have.
It's a...
The homework part sounds familiar because I think the first time I saw it, I was like, well, that's odd.
Homework with Bob Fenwick is the website. The website needs a little TLC, Bobby. I love you, Bob. I respect anyone running for council, but this website needs a little TLC, homeworkwithbobfenwick.com. That URL's on the white van. That white van, if that pulled up to me at a stoplight and it was like after dark and there wasn't anybody around and the lights were not on and that white van pulls up to me and I'm on the sidewalk, I'm watching my back. I'm just joking, Bob.
Is this guy peddling candy?
It's the sliding glass door, the sliding door van that always makes me nervous. Dude, you know what you can do with a sliding door like that? Throw the door and speed off.
Jump what?
Throw somebody in the bus and speed off. I'm not saying Bob would do that. Bob would never do that.
We all know that's the only reason to buy a van like that.
He's actually using it for business purposes, for his remodeling construction company, which is what he does. Well, we'll follow that news closely. I'm very excited to see. That would then be a fifth candidate when she jumps in the mix. 5 for 3 spots.
You mean the as yet unannounced she?
I mean, it's not our business to announce.
I didn't know we had anything to announce.
Oh, I don't want to steal her thunder.
All right.
You don't think I should steal her thunder? I don't want to steal her thunder. It's not my business to announce. Let her announce it. And then we can highlight her announcement and welcome her on the show after she has announced. How's that? Is that fair?
Sure. Maybe you'll tell me between then and now.
Kirby Hutto is retiring from the Ting Pavilion. Listen to this. The Ting Pavilion, 100,000 annual visitors to the Ting Pavilion. It has an economic impact of more than $12 million on the Charlottesville area economy, the Ting Pavilion. $12 million a year. Kirby Hutto has been the general manager of the Ting Pavilion since day one. Almost 2 decades ago, 20 years ago. Kirby Hutto is going to get replaced by Jonathan Drolshagen. Jonathan, I probably butchered your last name. I apologize. Jonathan Drolshagen is going to be the new general manager of this concert venue. A venue that legitimately, because of Core and Camshaw's influence, gets global talent. I mean, you're talking B.B. King, James Brown, Bobby Weir, Merle Haggard, Bonnie Raitt, Greg Allman, just to name a few, at the Ting Pavilion. I mean, we take for granted the venues we have in Charlottesville and the ridiculous talent that comes to this town to perform. And it is a direct result of Corin. That talent. Kirby Hutto has been a fantastic ambassador of this community, whether it's the general manager of the Ting or Sprint Pavilion, but also with his experience and time spent on the Charlottesville Albemarle Convention and Visitors Bureau Board and the Charlottesville Regional Chamber of Commerce. This guy is very behind the scenes, quite influential. I was taken aback with these two stats: 100,000 annual visitors to the Pavilion and an economic impact of over $12 million, the Pavilion, per year. I did not know that many people went to this concert venue every year, and I expected the economic impact for the Ting Pavilion to be less than the $12 million that they have extrapolated over the course of a year. Do you guys remember the downtown mall without the Ting Pavilion? Do you guys remember when Fridays After 5 used to be on the other side of the mall? The whiskey jar side of the mall? It used to be there. We take for granted the musical opportunities we have here from watching global talent. We take it for granted. We take for granted the depth in restaurants. We take for granted the depth of breweries, the depth of vineyards and cideries. We take for granted the outside hiking and enjoyment opportunities, and the fact that we have some of the best college sports right here in our backyard. We have an abundance of riches, and that's why people flood here. Kirby Hutto, job well done. Basically 20 years, almost 20 years. You've been in charge of a venue that now has national notoriety. Nora Gaffney says, yes, I do remember music sitting at Miller's for Fridays After 5. Albert Graves says the Pavilion is the key to the revitalization of the downtown mall. I would love to see council utilize the designated outdoor refreshment area on the downtown mall. Give me a Dora. Dylan's rule says an all-male council is not representative of this community. Dylan's rule said on Twitter. I mentioned this live on air. Dylan's rule also says on Twitter, it should be concerning that there is not a single local Republican elected official in CVille or Albemarle. Board of Supervisors, School Board, Sheriff, Clerk of the Court, Commonwealth's Attorney, Commissioner of Revenue, Treasurer, all D's in both localities. All D's in both localities from Dylan's rule. Well, I mean, I think that's why I have a lot of respect for what Dr. Bryce is doing for the at-large seat in the Albemarle County School Board. She's a conservative.
Yeah.
She's running for an at-large seat in Albemarle County.
Yep.
A very blue, if not purple, county voting block.
Mm-hmm.
Respect to her for making this push.
Yeah.
What'd you learn this week? I learned a lot this week. What'd you learn this week?
Let's see. I learned that there's a word, tooligans.
What's that?
Tooligans.
I saw that again. I saw that in the local news. Tell us what a tooligan is.
They're people that they've got kind of like a tool library, and I think it's genius. I think it's a great resource for especially now, especially with the economy the way it is. It's, if you've got something that's broken down in your house, if you've got something that needs fixing, these guys. Let's see. The Charlottesville Tool Library. They will loan you the tools. They will not only loan you the tools that you need to fix things around your house. They'll also walk you through how to do it. And I think that's brilliant. I mean, a lot of us, there are oftentimes emergency, fixes that are necessary. Your kid puts their foot through the paper thin wall, or
Did you do that?
No, not personally, but
I feel like you were a good kid. Lisa Cuslow says, Judah Witkower, she tagged you. The Tool Library also has classes as well.
Nice.
She wanted to let you know that there were classes.
That's cool. I wasn't a horrible kid, but I wasn't a saint either. Once got tired of my little sister annoying me while we were visiting. I think we were visiting friends or family, and it may have been Tennessee. She was probably like 2 years old. So we locked the door, locked the bathroom door, locks from the inside, put her inside, and closed the door.
Oh.
So they had to pull the bolts off the door to get her out. It was not a nice thing to do. But
now you guys are best friends.
Sure.
KTP, it's a great comment from Katie Pearl, the Queen of Whitehall. I agree, it's very concerning. We need diversity of thought, and there are a good number of conservatives, including herself, that currently do not feel represented at all by local officials.
Yeah.
What would turn the tide?
I mean, it's all based on votes. So if there aren't enough,
I know it's based on votes.
I mean, what would turn the tide?
What would turn the tide? Is it just a direct reflection of higher education being in our backyard?
What do you mean? Well, with all the,
higher education
Democrats?
Higher education often births liberal ideology. Is that a reflection?
Probably.
Is it a reflection of the wealth here?
Maybe. I think I would believe that it was more in line with.
Why do you think it is,
with the
Carol?
school.
Carol Thorpe. She says one-party rule, no matter which party it is a bad situation. We're 100% in agreement with that, Carol.
Amen.
What do you think has birthed the one party, or is influencing or driving this one-party community we live in?
I think a lot of it is the school. You've got a lot of.
Is it a lack of organization and engagement and momentum and infrastructure from Republicans and that party?
Possibly. I think they've got an uphill battle, and they would really need something. They would really need something to make them shine. I don't know, but I think that. I think they've got an uphill battle, and with all the bad press surrounding people like Trump, and some of the other people that are regulars on the in the political news. I just don't know if it's going to happen here in Charlottesville.
Comments are coming in fast. Katie Pearl says, I look forward to casting my vote for Dr. Bryce. She is a smart woman, mother, and professional who is well-read and knowledgeable about our educational system. My vote for her will be my easiest selection all year.
No doubt.
Sandra Holbrook responds to Katie's comment by saying, absolutely agree 100% with you. I'm tagging Katie and Sandra and saying, I mention this live on air. The Bryce brings a lot of legitimacy with her campaign. And we know, because we talked about this either yesterday or Wednesday, that she now has some competition. And the competition she has, I want to get her name 100% right, is Allison Spillman. And you cannot have two more polar opposite campaigns than Bryce's and Spillman's. They're completely opposite.
So what do they oppose each other on?
Collective bargaining.
Curious. So Spillman doesn't want collective bargaining?
No, hugely in favor.
Oh.
Collective bargaining. Spillman has all kids in the public school system, Albemarle. Dr. Bryce got kids in private school. That'll come up.
Okay, but that's
we've already dispelled that shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Folks will bring that up.
Yeah, no doubt.
We've already explained why that should not matter and the response to how you handle that.
I mean, I know people are still gonna latch onto that. I just, in terms of their campaigns, that's outside of the whatever they're going to be, whatever. If they had a debate,
Spillman is very much going to run on a campaign that's empowering of trans students.
Okay.
An interesting topic that's going to come up in this competition and in this competitive race is should teachers notify parents if their sons or daughters are identifying as the opposite sex in schools?
Yeah.
That'll come up. You got an opinion on that one?
Of course I do.
And you think absolutely they should notify the parents?
I think that should be the case for everything. I mean, it's I feel like the other side of that, the not notifying them, is too much in the field of like not trusting parents. Like you're making value judgments. You're making very, very broad value judgments about like all parents and saying we need to protect the kids. I mean, these are their parents. Yes, there are probably some horrendous parents out there that should not be trusted with their own kids, much less anyone else's kids. But for the most part, parents want what's best for their children. And if something came up with your child, want to know about it, and I don't see how you can. I don't see how there's any other. There's any other stance that really makes sense. In that regard.
Hard to disagree. Hard to disagree. This will undoubtedly rattle Charlottesville Twitter and socialist Twitter. But if my kid went to school, our sons went to school, and our sons were identifying as the opposite sex in school, I'd like to know. It boggles my mind that this conversation is even a real conversation.
Yeah.
Parents drop their kids off at school. Yes, they're not there, but they should be kept in the loop of what their kids are doing, especially if what their kids are doing is identifying as the opposite sex. I have no problem if that happens. I just like to be kept in the loop.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. You should want to know what's going on.
I'd like to know what's going on with our sons.
You should want to know what's going on with your kids, and yeah. I don't see any way that it would ever make sense that schools or anyone should be keeping things about your children from you.
Let the parents know what's going on with their kids in school. That's all folks are saying. Janice Boyce Trevelyan, parents cannot guide and help if they are not part of the conversation. Amen.
Yeah. They also can't help if their child runs into trouble either from bullying or personally. What if your kid is having a tough time and starts having thoughts about maybe I should just end this. How would you feel as a parent if you never knew and never had a chance to help them? That would be devastating, I think.
If we could update the lower third on screen. I know this is not a talking point in the headers, so I would say the lower third to utilize would be what Jerry and Judah learned this week. Thank you kindly. Albert Graves, hell yeah, I want to know, and it's ludicrous that teachers are supportive of not telling the parent what's going on with their own children. Right. That'll come up in this race.
No doubt.
I'm very open-minded to hosting a debate with the two candidates.
Yeah.
It would be fair. We've done these debates before. We've done them with Mayor Snook, Michael Payne. We've done them with Carl Brown. We've done them with Juan Diego Wade, Brian Pinkston. 8 or 10 questions, 2 minutes a piece to answer the questions, and then they each have a chance to respond to what each other has to say. Respectful, informative, long-form content. It would be the most watched debate in Charlottesville history. Because our platform is exponentially grown since we did the last debate, which was, when Pinkston and Wade, Brian Pinkston and Juan Diego Wade were here. So that was our last debate, was that race. Carol Thorpe says the Democrat political machine in Charlottesville has been conspiratorial and is comprised of several large influential groups to maintain a progressive stranglehold on local politics. I mean, Sonia Smith is certainly helping, for example, keep this community Democrat. The so-called kingmaker, Sonia Smith, who donates millions of dollars to political campaigns. Millions of dollars. Carol also says, if for no other reason, parents are legally responsible for their minor children. They have a legal right to know.
Yeah.
Crazy times.
No doubt.
What do you think with the direction of how the show's been flowing?
It's mostly good.
We've been talking more dialogue, had the trivia question introduction, had the best and worst thing we saw on Twitter introduction. Yesterday we introduced the segment of highlighting and spotlighting the history of businesses. We did it with Timberlake's. 1917, a business founded on the downtown mall in the old People's Bank location.
Yeah.
Maybe the oldest restaurant in Charlottesville city limits, Timberlake's, just beating the Virginian restaurant by 6 years, 1923 for the Virginian. They're on their 100-year anniversary right now, the restaurant on the corner. Timberlake's 1917 on the downtown mall. How do you think the show can be better? How about you, viewers and listeners? How can we make the show better for you? What do you think of the direction of the show of late? How can we make the program better for you guys? What would you like to see done differently? And Sarah Hill, you're exactly right. They went to Murray first before going private. And the point I made on Wednesday, the fact that she's running and her kids are in private shows how much she cares about the public schools, because her kids won't benefit from the policy she puts into play if she's elected to the school board.
Yeah. I saw someone else, I saw something somewhere else where a person was talking about a parent or parents who are homeschooling, and the fact that...
yeah, that was on Wednesday's show.
Was that?
Yeah, that was Wednesday's show. One of the moms was commenting, she goes, my kids are homeschooled. People would give us heat if we ran for school board because we're homeschooling, and she didn't think that was fair.
And the fact that they have... the fact that they have, because of that, a
different perspective that they can offer.
A perspective that's worth
listening
that's
to.
That's worth bringing to the school system.
Right.
Which is just another way of saying it would be nice if we had some variety in the voices that sit on our councils.
Yeah. Right. Lisa Costello would like us to potentially reserve a few topics at the end to discuss state and national news. That's a good idea. That's a way to potentially improve the show. Few topics at the end to discuss state and national news. Lisa Costello, good idea. Queen of Cherry Avenue. Let me give you some prompts. How else, viewers and listeners? We seriously are open-minded to what you guys have to say.
Yeah.
Katie says, exactly, Judah, how can a parent help if they aren't aware? From a sheer liability perspective, the parents could easily sue a school if something destructive happened to a student that the staff had knowledge of and they fail to disclose to the parents. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dude, you guys want to, if something happened at the school and my wife did not know about it, you do not want to be anywhere near infuriated mama bear.
Yeah.
You do not want to go in the crosshairs of mama bear. Trust me.
I believe it.
Kevin Higgins says, I'd love to see surviving employees and or family members on your show talking about CVille businesses from days gone. H&M Shoes, now Hamilton's, is just one example. Carol says the content is great. I still wish you would install sound baffling in the studio ceiling to reduce the echo chamber sound. Unfortunately, we can't do anything about it. That's one of the drawbacks of having, how tall do you think the ceiling is?
It's probably
18 feet?
16, 18 feet, yeah.
Yeah, our ceilings in this studio, when I remodeled this space, I ripped out all the drop ceiling to give it a larger, more vast look. Because when I remodeled this space where I Love CVille is on Market Street, the plan was never to create a podcasting network. Initially, the plan for the I Love CVille storefront was to create a, what were we call it? Like a welcome center, a tourism welcome center. Because we noticed that was something that was missing from downtown Charlottesville. Then we realized very quickly that we did not want to be in the tourism welcome center business with strangers coming into our location at all random hours and asking us questions like, where are the public restrooms on the downtown mall? And I was like, let's get the hell out of this business. Sadly, and then we launched a podcasting network, and we still have the 20-foot high ceilings here.
And we still have people coming in here occasionally asking for maps.
I mean, yeah, we still have people coming in here asking us where the public restrooms are or where the spectacle shop is.
Well, that
we get that constantly,
almost daily.
And another thing, like, most studios are not developed or in a storefront like this.
Tell me you really need those glasses without telling me you really need those
glasses. Yeah, you go into I Love CVille saying, is this the glasses shop?
Where are the glasses?
Where are the glasses here? Well, you need some help. The glasses shop is over here. Would you like me to walk you to the front door? Because you went into a building that has I Heart CVille as large as possible on the. I mean, you can't mistake this for the spectacle shop. Yeah. And it happens a handful of times every week. Handful of times every week. Thank you, Carol. Carol, you're sincere. I sincerely mean this, Carol. I very much look forward to your feedback. Albert says, keep doing what you guys are doing. People are noticing. I've noticed the local news has been more local, and most of these local stories come from topics on this show, so keep up the good work. Thank you kindly.
Thank you.
We also noticed the local news streaming our show every day, looking for content. And Katie says, the future of the public school children in our community matters to all of us, public or private schools alike. This is the future peers, co-workers, husbands, and wives to my private school children. Bingo. Bingo. KTP, good people, you are. All right, I got to get to work. You have been, I try to emphasize this often on the show. You've been fantastic with your perspective and what you contribute to the show.
Thank you.
Your personality is very, 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 very
abrasive?
I was not going to say that.
I'm joking.
I don't think you're abrasive. I think you're very likable.
Except when I disagree with you.
I don't mind if you disagree. I think it contributes to the show. Where I have problems when you disagree is when you nitpick disagree and you change the course and flow of the show.
Words matter.
That's my only beef. The nitpicking. But I think I think that it's just complementary. They're complementary personalities, and they fit well on a show like this. Jehu Martin, Mr. Belmont, the King of Belmont, all this conversation about affordable housing, which is really about subsidized housing, but affordable housing for middle-class single young couples and professionals. It is a major challenge that is not being handled well by most of the country. Numerous projects build this type of housing near the downtown mall were turned down on several occasions by the all-seeing, all-knowing city council. He's got a good comment on the I Love CVille group. And Lisa says, we're a great team. Thank you, Jehu Martin, for your comment. Thank you, Lisa, for the kind words.
Yeah.
I want to do this. You know what? I will reach out to Dr. Bryce and Allison Spillman, the two candidates running for the school board seat at large, about a live debate. Live debate on the talk show. We've got a lot of experience doing these. We'll do it.
Would we give them the debate questions beforehand?
I will give, I think you should give the debate questions beforehand, except for maybe one or two that are asked on the fly. Because you want them to be completely prepared to answer the question.
Yeah.
Not everyone.
You don't want to give them 2 minutes and have them try to cram as much as they possibly can, trying to get their point across when they could spend some time figuring out how to best make that point in 2 minutes, and then we're actually getting, the sides that they're on. Not
everyone has the skill set of being able to take questions on the fly and give their best answer.
Right. And we want the best answer.
We want to hear their best answers.
We're not trying to get people to fumble.
I'm not trying to do shock jock journalism here. So what I'd probably do is do maybe it would be like a 10-question live debate, and eight of them are given to them up front.
Yeah.
And then 2 of them we say for maybe one for an audience question that we think is best, and one that you and I come up with together to close.
Yeah.
And then long form content where nothing could be taken out of context.
Right.
It'd be fantastic. Mm-hmm. We'd invite the TV stations and the newspaper here to cover it. Yeah, Carol, 100% right. If not the questions, the topics. 100% CT. Vanessa says, I love when the candidates come on the show. And I hope they agreed to the debate. We'll keep you guys in the loop.
Did you see what Kevin said?
What's that?
That'd be kind of fun.
What's that?
Dr. Ho said scavenger hunts for gift cards during COVID. You all should do that, where you hide an I Love CVille something or other and use the show to engage viewers in CVille history to see if anyone can find live on air what you hid. I don't know how we do the live on air part, but it would be interesting hiding things around Charlottesville and asking people
use the show as clues?
I don't know how you'd
how would that work?
I don't know how you'd use the show doing that live, but we could give the clues on air like on a Tuesday and then announce the results on a Wednesday.
I could put I Love CVille stickers around town that have a URL on the sticker. And when they find the sticker, we give them clues where the stickers are around town. They have to go find the sticker based on our clues. And then they go to the URL on the sticker. And on that website is the contest.
It could just be a contact form. And you would only be able to get to that contact form if you had that URL.
And the contact form is basically an entry for people to get in the contest.
Well, yeah, and we would know who the first person to find it was.
Interesting idea. Or we associate the contest with purchases at local businesses, that you can get entered to win this prize if you show us a purchase at a local business on the downtown mall. Because I would want to drive business to small businesses in the community that are struggling. I don't know. We'll flush out the idea.
It could be something like that could be part of the clue. The clue could be the business, or the business could be the what they have to find. We give clues, and then when they get there, somebody at the counter has the sticker with the URL, or just a piece of paper with the URL, and somebody comes in and says, "Hey, I'm here on the I Love CVille scavenger hunt." They give them the URL.
Well, we did a scavenger hunt. We did an I Love CVille scavenger hunt to benefit Caring for Creatures. Remember that on the downtown mall?
But that wasn't the same.
It was great. We had 80 people enter that scavenger hunt. I worked my ass off on that scavenger hunt.
Yeah, but we don't want.
We made like $6,000 for Caring for Creatures.
I'm not saying it was bad. I'm saying that's not something we would do for this show.
We could use the show for something like that. Anyway, this is a conversation, not for now anyway. Anyway, good job. Show's archived on ilovecville.com. This question from Kelsey. Did you get Wednesday's show up on Spotify? She has not seen it. Wednesday's the show where we had the meeting at the Clifton and then the happy hour at Keswick. Did you get that show up on Spotify? She said she missed it. Maybe she missed it on Wednesday. You got it up on Thursday the next day, right?
Yeah, I got it up on Thursday, but Spotify?
She listens on Spotify.
Okay. I mean, all I know is that I put the
RSS.
I put the sound up on SoundCloud.
Right, and then it RSS's to Spotify.
And that goes to, I guess. I hadn't even remembered about Spotify.
We may want to confirm. We appreciate her listening to the show on the podcasting platform.
Yeah.
You SoundCloud it, and then it RSS's to the various podcasting platforms.
I put it on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
And SoundCloud probably gets it sent to other places.
Yeah. That's the technical term.
I know it goes to Apple. I know it goes to that tornado place or whatever that you wanted us to get on. I've forgotten about Spotify. So
Juan Sarmiento would love a scavenger hunt. Juan, we love you. Scavenger hunt. Thank you, viewers and listeners. All right, that's the talk show on a Friday. You guys keep it local, okay? Keep it local. Support the businesses you want to see survive. It's vulnerable and it's precarious out there from an economy standpoint. Support the businesses you want to see survive. Final Four this weekend. Maybe you watch it out. Dairy Market's a great spot for families looking to watch a game, get a cold beer, some good food while the kids raise a ruckus. We love going there. He's Judah. I'm Jerry. It's the I Love CVille Show on a Friday. Thank you kindly for listening. Take care.